Hello there, it's Sunday, April 6th, 2025, and we're doing a little bit of diagnosing here on the refrigerator. We've had a problem with ice buildup. The refrigerator works fine, but it accumulates a bunch of ice, and I verified that the drain line is open. I poured water down this trough and it runs right down. So it's not clogging up and overflowing. So I figured we had a heater problem. And this little skinny tube right here, that's the heater element. It runs through the whole evaporator right here. And it's these two wires right on the top. I checked those with an ohm meter. I forget the ohms. I should document that. But it seemed reasonable. I did some math, and 106 ohms, I think, is what it was. I did some math. With 120 volts, it'll be about 1 amp of current flow. And I just did a test, and that's what's happening exactly. And I'll show you what's going on. These two right here are thermal fuses. That's what the diagram calls them on the back of the fridge. So we've got power comes in and feeds one of these thermal fuses, and it goes out. Then it connects to the heater element, one wire, goes through the heater element out the other wire, back to here. And then it goes through the other thermal fuse, and then back into the back of the refrigerator and connects to neutral. And the power supply for all that is the brown wire in this plug, which is on the back of this. This is the switch for the refrigerator. It sits right there. This is the entire control unit for the whole refrigerator. There's a little spring and this little plunger guide. It sits on the front, and this is your switch right here. There's your low, medium, and high cooling, and then there's a 3-second button here. You hold that for 3 seconds. I'm not sure how that works, but it does. But this is the indicator lights, and there's one switch right here. I got to figure out what the 3-second thing is. Maybe that is a force to put it into defrost. That would be kind of nice to know. And there's the light that lights up the whole fridge. So again, this controls everything in the whole refrigerator. This is a high current power supply. You got a neutral wire, a hot wire from the power supply on the plug on the back of the fridge. One of these, I don't know which one is which, but the other one goes down to the compressor. And then the fourth one is what goes to the defrost. And there's these two large relays right here, and evidently these are what are controlling the power going to those high current devices. I've had this out. There's a whole bunch of electronics on the back side of this. So there's logic in there, probably timers. I don't know. I don't know electronics good enough to be able to tell all that. There's a bunch of ICs on the back. What I have figured out, again, this is the power, the high power wires. And then we've got this 4-terminal. It's a black, white, black, white. That's the larger of the two plugs. So that would be this one right here. That's going to somewhere in the refrigerator. There's two thermistors. All right, I'm doing a little test here. On the 4 terminals, the 2 blacks and the 2 whites, I put my own meter on there, and I'm getting 24 and change, and it varies. The freezer here has got this thermistor right there with 2 black wires on it, and when I put my hand on that thermistor, it changes the temperature. It lowers the resistance. All right, so there's a chart somewhere. You can look up those ohms. So let's say we're, I don't know, thermostat here on my AC says 78 degrees. So we're around 78, 80, whatever. That's still climbing. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the 2 white wires. All right, we're getting a big difference here. This is 2.8 ohms. Is that kilo ohms? Can't see it. Yeah, 2.8 kilo ohms. And I don't know where that thermistor is. Let me put my hand on this. Is there another one there? No. So they're both reading close to the same. I found that chart. I'm gonna go look at it and see what it shows. All right, I don't know where on the thermistor. I don't know where on the internet I found this, but Whirlpool, KitchenAid thermistor values at a temperature around 80 down there. We had from 24 to 2.4 to 2.5 kilo ohms, or 2430 to 2580, however you want to look at it. So they're reasonably accurate readings that I'm getting on those thermistors. So evidently one is for the freezer, the other one must be for the refrigerator. I don't know, but the refrigerator functions fine, so we don't have an issue with those thermistors. The only problem we have is with the defrost, so I got to come up with a way to verify what's going on with that before I spend some pretty big bucks for one of these things. And all the ones I can find on the internet are all used, refurb they call it. So this is 59 bucks plus shipping. And there's the part number if you're interested. Hello. It's Sunday, April 13th, and I'm finally getting around to installing the new control thermostat gizmo. And I had a brain fart, I guess. The first thing you got to do is take this thing out, the plunger, so that way it exposes this screw slot here. So there's a little tang on this plunger right here. This is the activation switch part, and that tang resides right there. So you got to push that in, and the way I did it is I pushed this in up against the spring tension and held my finger on this. So that gave me constant tension on that tang. And I took my little screwdriver and popped in, and then it cocked, and then I was able to unhook it from here secondly. All right, so next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get me some isopropyl alcohol, I guess, and wipe this clean and install the sticker. And then we're going to plug in the 3 connectors. Absolutely nothing to it. All right. Here we go. I remember it used to take about 30 seconds for the refrigerator to actually kick on. We'll know it when that fan comes on. Here it goes. She's running. All right, time will tell if that fixed it. I strongly suspect that one of these relays has got a fat, flaky contact in it. It'd be fun to play with that, but I'm going to hang on to this for a while, just in case my problem doesn't go away.